Hey there, YouTube. Vagabond Mel here, and today I'll be discussing something that I just recently learned about. Surprisingly, I'm 45 years old, and I'm literally just hearing about this last week. It happened within my lifetime. Today I'll be talking about the Roman dictator, not Roman. It's a Romanian dictator called Ceausescu. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He reigned from 1966 until 1989. And I was 9 years old in 89. I've known about the Salem witch trials since I could remember. Since I was a little kid, I've learned about it. I thought it was, a heinous part of our history. It's an American history, but, even more heinous is stuff that happens in other countries in the world that Americans don't really learn about, that are more heinous than our own little witch trials. So this guy, Ceausescu, he decided he wanted all women to have a minimum of 5 children. And he enforced this rule by encouraging women who are going against this 5-child minimum. He encouraged them to be beaten and raped. He encouraged people to haggle them, harass them, it was nuts. Like, women were basically scum from 1966 to 1989 in Romania at this time. Women were just uterus bags that carried infants. And this guy wanted these babies to supposedly make Romania better, like all these babies would become loyalists. He thought that Romania could be more powerful the more population it had. So what ended up happening, at least 170,000 of these babies that were born, 170, I'm sorry, that's a huge number. 170,000 babies became wards of the state. They were sent to orphanages, not because they were actual orphans, but because their parents could not afford to have them. They couldn't feed them. So there were 170,000 orphans in Romania. And at the time, Romania was struggling to feed its own population. I don't know how many, I don't know the statistics about that. So you know what they did? They didn't have food to feed these children. They fed them blood. They fed these children blood because they thought, well, at least they're getting some nutrients. They gave these children blood because there wasn't enough food. And I'm not talking animal blood, I'm talking people blood. But that's only the tip of it. That is not the worst part. That's not even a little speck of the worst part of the atrocities that these kids endured. So the orphanages were overflowing. They didn't get any attention. None of these kids got any attention because for some reason they thought given love and affection and any form of attention the kid would grow up weak. Purposely, not only did they purposely withhold attention, but even if they wanted to give attention to these kids, there weren't enough people around to show all these kids attention. So most of them became mentally retarded. They were chained to their cribs, strapped to their beds. They couldn't speak. It's just their brains didn't develop properly because they didn't have the proper care. nobody paid attention to them, so they didn't have any language. Someone's walking by. This gets me so upset, though. It's crazy. What time is it? 1:38. There was a few kids that ended up having to participate in experiments against their will, of course. And it's similar to the World War II camps that they had on prisoners. You know, I think it was Japan that was doing all these experiments on prisoners, and the Nazis were participating and doing horrible experiments. Well, they did similar experiments to these orphans in Romania, and they were literally babies. They were obsessed with giving children spinal taps for some reason. So they had all these spinal taps given to these little literal babies, and they, like, I guess to diagnose diseases and stuff, they had no anesthesia. None of these experiments had any anesthesia whatsoever. They used to rip out the eyeballs of children without any anesthesia. They'd amputate limbs without any anesthesia. And who are these people that did that? What doctor? Like, what? How? They're babies. They didn't even think of them as real children because they couldn't speak. And they were like skin and bones because they weren't fed properly. I mean, how? This happened when I was alive. And nobody talks about it. Nobody ever talks about it. I mean, what? I gotta go pick up my sandwiches. I have one for me, one for my dad, one for Liz. Today is Subway Sunday because they have buy one, get one 50% off. So I'm gonna go pick it up. I ordered it online. I love that. Especially going to Subway. It's so easy to order stuff online. But okay, guys, I'll be right back. I am hungry. So this guy, Ceausescu, he was in power for over 20 years. Isn't that crazy? And the only reason why he was overthrown is because his own military turned against him. There was a final straw incident where he had the military fire on a bunch of protesters. And in Romania at this time, nobody had any guns. The only people who had guns were the military. So the military fired on these peaceful protesters, and that was the final straw. Then the military decided, they stood up and said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're done. So that's how the people, the citizens, got their guns to overthrow this dictator. But they didn't even need guns because the military was on their side. So they actually overthrew a dictator technically without using guns, or it may have been violent. It was a very violent end for Ceausescu. So I'm gonna go. There were the dictator Ceausescu. He had to put on these military, like a show of force. Like every so often, he had a lot of, like he would talk in front of the public a lot and hold rallies. and everybody was it was mandatory that you actually attend these rallies, and they had no choice, and the people had to chant his name and cheer, because if they didn't cheer for him, they would be punished brutally, probably killed. And you know, of course, everybody was telling on their neighbor, like, oh, this person said that and this and that. So like everybody was under surveillance at this time. But during this last rally, he had everybody mandatory come. It was shortly after he murdered all those protesters, and he was gonna glorify that moment of murdering these people. And that's when the crowd turned on him. Like, it became such a shock. I watched the video of this, and the guy, the dictator, was so shocked. He did not know what to do. Like, his face was just like, what? Wait a second. You're not allowed to do this. You can't do this. Everybody was booing. They were all booing, saying, down with Ceausescu, down with Ceausescu. And it's the first time in one of these rallies where everybody did that, and they did it, they just did it. They didn't care the consequences. And there was nobody to punish these people at the rally, because the military also turned on this dictator. In 1989, Ceausescu, he was assassinated. They put on this little trial, you know, like last minute they assembled some people and they put on a trial, and he of course was found guilty, and he was sentenced to death, killed. Him and his wife were killed almost immediately. And yeah, but that was over 20 years they lived like that, guys. Romania is now a democratic country, and it's a lot better than what it was. But God, could you imagine? Guys, I gotta go see my papa. Alright, talk to you later. Bye-bye. I am done visiting my poppy. So, let's see. So my dad really likes Westerns, and we ended up watching The Quick and the Dead today with little DiCaprio and Sharon Stone and Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe. And watching a movie like that made me want to go home and start playing a game that I started playing like a long time ago, and I abandoned it. It's called Red Dead Redemption 2. I already played the first one. I beat the first one, and then I got the second one. I stopped playing the second one because it got really complicated, and I was wanted dead or alive, like in all these jurisdictions. I was a wanted man, and it just got to the point where I didn't want to play anymore. But now I do want to play again. Oh, there's something dead in the road. It's a raccoon. Oh no, no. Poor little raccoons. They're so cute. I should stop at work. Stopping at work. I love Sundays. Look at how nice this is. There's barely any cars on the road. On a steel horse I ride, 'cause I'm wanted, wanted, dead or alive, dead or alive. I'm at work. I'm just gonna be a minute. Oh shit, look at what happened. Oh. And I want to tell you guys something that I wasn't proud of before, but now that the more I think about it, I'm actually getting kind of proud of myself. Oh my eyeglasses. I think they're gonna be okay there. the thing that I've done that, you know, that I'm proud of is that I slept until 11 a.m. today and yesterday, and I haven't done that probably for about 10 years. That used to be the time I normally wake up, 11 o'clock, and you know, it feels so good to wake up at 11. And I mean, at first I thought, maybe should I be ashamed of it? But you know, the more I thought about it, it's like, you know what, why should I feel ashamed of it? I feel great today. I feel well rested, and there's no shame in that. I should be proud that I could actually do that. I feel kind of blessed, honestly. It seems to me like the longer I sleep, the weirder my dreams become. Okay guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna probably play Red Dead Redemption. And oh, what is this over here? Look at this bottle cap darts. What Liz just hung this up. It doesn't even work. It doesn't even work. Okay, whatever. Okay guys, I'll see you later. Bye bye.